Good evening, friends. Meeting after a big gap of 5, 6 days. Because of some personal reasons, it was not possible to conduct a session. So, only a remaining part of the chapter number 13, a very short topic which is yet remained that we're going to finish in today's session from Kant's philosophy. This chapter number 13 here is devoted to the basically the law of similars, or which is also called as nature's law of cure, basically nature's law of cure or therapeutic law of cure. And he tried his level best to explain the nature's law of cure in his own way. He explained that whatever the disease we used to produce with the help of homeopathic medicine is always stronger than the natural disease, which happens conditionally, and because of which a stronger artificial disease removes the weaker one permanently because their manifestations are same but the kind is different. And that's what we have discussed in detail. And now the last part of this chapter, which is related with the aphorism number 27, he tries to explain over there. And we'll finish only that much in today's session, that is related with the aphorism 27 from chapter number 13. So what he says, aphorism 27, the curative power of medicines therefore depends on their symptoms similar to the disease, but superior to it in strength, so that each individual case of disease is most surely, radically, rapidly, and permanently annihilated and removed only by a medicine capable of producing in the human system, in the most similar and complete manner, the totality of the symptoms, which at the same time are stronger than the disease. See, he explains here exactly the law, nature's law of cure in his own way. Hahnemann tries to explain that natural disease is always weaker than the medicinal disease, and because of which, as the symptoms are stronger in medicinal disease, they always remove the symptoms of the natural disease, removing the natural disease permanently. So the word which he has used, annihilated permanently. Annihilated means to remove it from root. समूळ नष्ट करणे. So that has been completely removed from the source, and whatever remains is the only artificial disease. And that artificial disease, the control of artificial disease is always there in your hand. If you stop giving the medicine, it automatically disappears, and that's how the cure happens to be there, and that's why it is called a therapeutic law of cure or nature's law of cure. So what Kant tries to explain about this? What is Kant's philosophy regarding this aphorism? Then it is not sufficient merely to give the drug itself regardless of its form. It is not sufficient to give the crude drug, but the plane upon which it is to be given is a question of study. So what he explains here, you have to give the medicine which should act in the same plane, because disease happens in the dynamic plane. The crude medicine will not going to cure that dynamic disorder. If you are to treat that dynamic disorder, your medicine should be dynamic enough to reach to that place. Then and then cure happens. And when your medicine becomes dynamic, that happens to be there after the process of potentization, either by succussion or trituration. If you are preparing medicine in decimal scale, above the 24x potency, the medicine becomes completely dynamic. If you are preparing it in centesimal scale, above the 12C potency, the medicine becomes completely dynamic. And then that medicine definitely works in the same plane where the natural disease has happened, and then the cure can happen. The attenuation also must be similar to the disease cause. In approving, the crude drug may bring forth a mass of symptoms in one prover. But when a person is sick, those symptoms will not be touched by the crude drug because the patient does not sustain similar relation or susceptibility to that the one did who proved it. So medicine, which is if it has been proved in crude form, that will not be covered with the help of this medicine. Whatever the patient complaints are there, if they are dynamic enough, and if you are giving this crude drug to that patient, it will not going to cure. It might palliate, but it will not cure. If you want to remove those right from the base, then you require the medicine in the dynamic form only. This is very, very important thing. And that's why nature's law of cure, what he says, a weaker dynamic affection. The word is dynamic. See, this is what the Hahnemann says. A weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished in the living organism by a stronger one if latter is very similar, whilst differing in kind to the former in its manifestation. So the word which Hahnemann have used is related with the dynamic affection, and this is what he wants to highlight over here. The crude drug cannot remove this dynamic affection. If the disease is dynamic, it should be treated in the same dynamic plane. And then, in short, he explains in the paragraph 29, Hahnemann has given an explanation of the law of cure. He himself precludes it by saying that he does not attach much importance to it. In Aphorism 29, Hahnemann explained that the most probable explanation. This is how he starts in Aphorism 29. Because if the things are dynamic, one cannot explain as this is how it happens. If the things are dynamic, you cannot explain exactly. Then you have to think, then you have to theorize, then you have to explain on the basis of your intelligence. And Hahnemann also explains that how it disappears, it's not the question of importance. Question is that whether your patient is cured completely or not cured. That is the question. So Kent also says that in paragraph 29, Hahnemann has given an explanation of law of cure. He himself precludes that he by saying that he does not attach much importance to it. You are not in any way bound to consider it, and it is usually omitted in this course. So that's why Kent has not taken into consideration that how this cure takes place, the method, or um, um, the how the disorder completely recovers. That he never tried to explain over there, because that is the probable explanation. Even Hahnemann says this is a probable, and when probability comes, you should not talk about it, because whatever you say is not always the correct and not always the truth. And that's why Kent has said that instead of that, we'll leave this and we'll start with directly with the aphorism number 30 in next chapter. So here complete the chapter number 13. Tomorrow's session will start with the chapter number 14, where he has given lot of importance to the susceptibility. And this chapter one has to understand from practical point of view, because our whole treatment part, basically the question of potency always depends upon the susceptibility. And how to judge the susceptibility is very important practical aspect. And that's why the next chapter, chapter number 14, is very essential chapter from practical point of view. So here completes chapter number 13. We'll meet today in the evening with the remaining part of arsenic album, a big remedy. Some part of arsenic album we're going to learn in today's session at 8:30. So till that period, thanks a lot for attending session, and we'll continue with the arsenic album at night. Thank you.